Hi everyone, I'm Angela. Welcome and welcome back to Angela's Fashion Mix. Happy Sunday. I hope your day is going well and it's Super Bowl Sunday. So good luck to your team. Should be a good game. I will be watching. I don't know I'm going to hang in there for the duration, but I will start out good and we'll get to the end. Looking forward to watching the game. So today's video is a continuation of celebrating African American contributions to the fashion industry. So today, the looks that I am sharing are African inspired, as well as the feature for today is an African born designer. I found out about her about 3 years ago, probably around the beginning of COVID. Her name is Anifa Mvuemba, and she owns the global brand Hanifa. So I'm going to be sharing her information with you. And yesterday I posted a short video. Hope you saw that. And if you did, I mentioned that I will reveal what that was about today. And it is a very, very simple skirt. But I've also added another component to it, and that is a flower pin. And I will be showing a tutorial at the end as to how I made that pin. Now, I made some pins in the past few months, and I showed you one a couple of months ago. That fabric was very flowy and a little bit challenging to cut. So I did a different technique on that one. So on the one I'm showing you today is my original technique. I just sat down one day and started cutting out what looked like leaf shapes, and I made a pin. So it's not a complicated process, but I will be showing that. And also my African inspired looks. I hope you enjoy those. So I'm going to start with Anifa Mvuemba and introduce you to her. Anifa was born November 16, 1990. She is an African American fashion designer, and her family moved to the United States from Kenya when she was barely 3 years old. She took a fashion design course during her junior year in high school and began working in retail after she graduated. As one of the most innovative designers in the fashion industry and the founder of the brand Hanifa, her creative eye and business prowess have led her to dress top fashionistas including Zendaya, Tracee Ellis Ross, Bella Hadid, and more. Her label has a history of successfully redefining notions of how a fashion brand must reach its audience, and she holds open casting calls to women in the DC area, and that's one of the ways she's found to stay true to her mission throughout her brand development. She believes that the world is changing, things are shifting, so she's kind of known for creating her own way. She's self-funded, she kind of thinks outside of the box, and one of the things that kind of brought a lot of attention to her, I believe it was last year during Fashion Week in New York, was that she did a 3D runway show. It was quite interesting. I'd never seen anything like it, and seemingly most people had not. So in doing so, she grabbed the attention of a lot of the fashion industry's eyes. She was originally in New York and kind of really launched herself in DC a couple of years ago. She named her brand Hanifa, and her name is Anifa Mvuemba. So I'm jumping into my skirt. When I say simple, you can't get any more simple. It really is just straight sides, and I put elastic in the waist. That's all it is to it. But I found this print at Joann's and thought it was really a nice looking print. It's not too busy, although it has a lot of bold pattern, but I'm going to be styling that. And I also made a pin to go with it. So this is what you'll be seeing at the end on the tutorial. But the thing about a lot of the African prints is they can be very bold, very colorful, and sometimes that does just not work for everyone. If you're trying to be a little bit subdued, one of the reasons why I went with this skirt and the pin is because a lot of the outfits are head to toe, can be overbearing for someone that's trying to be kind of in the background, but you still want to participate a little bit. So this will help you kind of figure out if it's even an option for you. There's great ways to add African influence to your looks, and ways to do that is with just jewelry. A friend of mine who has jewelry, and I'll add her information as well, and the jewelry is made in Africa and sent here. So I'll be sharing that information with you as well. She actually sources the jewelry and has an online business as well as independent shows. They're pretty big, but only for purposes of showing you just how you can simply add something to an otherwise plain look and still be able to have a feeling of participating with the African attire. So the looks that I'm going to show you today, I have 4 in total, including the one that I made. Let's start with the looks. Now, I did not make this or the others that will be shown. They were all store-bought in different places. And what I really do like about this is it has pockets, so I do like that. And this would be more summer. Could wear this to an African-inspired baby shower or brunch, something like that. And of course, to a wedding, if it's African-inspired. So there are ways and places to utilize. So my jewelry that I added, it's a different shade of green, but I'm thinking it's working here. And this is a set that I purchased at the High Point Furniture Market a few years ago. There was a company there that was getting rid of their accessories, and they brought them to the furniture market, and that's where I found them. And the complete set was $5. So I put this in. I thought the materials itself, as well as the bold look of the jewelry, worked well with this. And I added just a nude mule with the acrylic heel. That's what I added, just to not have anything compete with it. I like how the two colors are playing off of each other, and then having the additional swirl detail there, I think adds a lot of interest. So this is look number 1. So if you really want to make a statement, you can go with something like this. This is great for an African wedding, of course. And if you wanted to venture into other opportunities, this is something that worn for International Day at church and works well. I love the design. It has a lot of flair, a lot of appeal, and with the head wrap, it just adds that extra something. Of course, it can be worn without it. And I've thrown in my vintage handbag, a grouping of bangles that were thrifted, and necklace that has a little bit of sparkle. I don't recall where I got the earring, but it's all working well together. And this has a slit in the back. And I added my gold thrifted shoes. So we're just working all of the gold accessories in conjunction with the pattern here. And that has gold detail in it, as you can see. So if you wanted to do something a little more, you know the saying, go big or go home. There's definitely ways to make that happen. And if you wanted to wear it and use your wrap that way, you could definitely do that too. So that's look number 2. So if you don't like the top and the bottom matching and all that offers, this is a great way to still get a feel for the fabric, for the designs, and just add the accessories and still feel very much in line with the African flair. So this is my skirt, straight panels, elastic in the waist. There's nothing hard about it. And I have a shoe that is pulling these colors out, and the tones in the shoe are brown. So I pulled in the bronze on the handbag, and I put in browns and bronze, a little bit of black, all of that in my accessories on my bangles. So I decided to go with bangles on both wrists because I didn't do a necklace. So that's just going to add a little bit of interest there with the brown and the bronze. So I thought that worked well with the top. In mix and match form, this goes with a skirt. Always mention pulling apart those suit pieces and wear those with for additional opportunities. So Absolutely love these color combinations, and you've seen this combination before if you saw the video that I used this scarf with my thrifted pieces. And over also, I believe I did it in a short, or it's on Instagram. There is a photo with these colors and the scarf. Now if I wanted, I absolutely could create a headband with the scarf. So lots of ways to still pull in the look that you're going for without having the full ensemble. So that's look number 3. If you've been here for a little while, you may remember my $1 shoes that I found at Goodwill. They were undergoing a renovation, and just before they closed, they marked things down to $1. That's where I got these. And for look number 4, so I didn't add a belt because I thought adding a belt made it feel a little more Grecian. I didn't want that look. So if you wanted to do something like this and add a belt, you definitely could. This is the head wrap, but I decided, in true Angela's Fashion Mix form, to add it here to just add a bit of more interest to the otherwise sleeveless top. So it can be worn like that, and of course I could wrap my head with it, and I decided to pair bronze and gold accessories because of the bronze detail. It has elastic in the waist. It does have the rear slit, and I just added a pin on the shoulder to hold it in place, but that's it. So I chose this necklace because it has the same colors, and it's bold, and it adds a lot of interest to the front as well. So not a lot competing up high on the neck, so that it doesn't take away from what I think the focal point of this is. So that's look number 4. So I hope that you enjoyed those African-inspired looks. Even if you don't know right now where you're going, we know those opportunities often pop up where we need something special. Like your church may never have had International Day. What are you wearing? If an organization has an International Day or some kind of African-themed event, what are you wearing? As my mom always said, and I'm sure yours did too, you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. And you want to have those pieces that are going to serve you at a moment's notice. Also take a look at Anifa's collection. I will have her website in the description box. It's Super Bowl Sunday. I will be watching, and also this is a historic game because it's the first time 2 African American quarterbacks in the Super Bowl. It has to add deviled eggs to the menu, so I'm headed to the kitchen to make that happen. Everyone, enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you on Wednesday. Bye.
So let's make a flower pen. I've already cut out the pieces. The easiest thing I found to do, and you could do it on one strip, is just cut the width of what you want the leaf to be. Cut the strip, fold it in half, and once you cut it, it's going to be the width whatever you choose. Now you could use pinking shears here. You could use some other design other than the straight edged scissor, whatever you want to do. And once you open it up, you have a leaf in the size and shape as well as length that you want. And just create multiples of those. I usually do 6 or 7 of those for that base layer. Then I start to make them shorter, going up into the front of the flower. So the base is going to have the longer leaf. The next one is going to be shorter on up to the middle. I also create a circle, and this is going to be the backside base for what the first layer is going to attach to. So to create the leaf, I just pinch the bottom edge of it. It's just a little bit of a fold there. I just pinch it together, and then I'm going to glue this onto the circle, and this is going to start the backside of the flower. So please be careful with the glue gun. That glue gets really hot and it will burn. If it sticks to you, take it off as quickly as you can, but it will burn. So I'm just gluing that one on there. I don't have to wait for it to dry, but I do want to be comfortable that it is going to stay there. So from this one, I'm just going to add the next leaf. It doesn't have to be side by side layered onto each other, but definitely close enough so that you can overlap them. So once you get that layer done, going into the next layer with the shorter is going to start to develop a little bit of height, which you can see there already. So what you want to do is alternate that next level in between the bottom layer. And with your next level, you're going to do the same thing. That's where the height is going to start to build and it's going to start to take shape. So here at the end, of course, if your leaves start to look a little funny, you can definitely trim them as you go. It's glued, it's going to stay. And here I keep a drawer of broken pieces of jewelry or buttons and things of that nature. So when I do a project like this, I pull from this drawer. So with the little red on that center there, I am using those couple of pieces to create a center point. You could add a pearl, you can add a gold piece, you can do whatever you choose. I went with the red to kind of pick up the tones in the fabric. So that creates the little center right in the middle there. It's glued on, it's going to stay in there. So the next thing you want to do is decide what you want the top of the flower to look like as it's laying on your garment. Pick your top part, and then when you flip it over, you're going to attach the pin. One thing about the pin, decide which way you want it to open. I typically want it to swing right when I open. I'm right-handed, so think about that. And that way it's not awkward when you go to put it on. You don't want to have to put it on feeling like you're putting it on backwards. So think about that. Just hold it up, put the pin there, and see what feels good. And then you're going to decide where on the flower you want to place it. You're simply going to glue it on. It's going to stay. It will hold. Putting fabric to fabric, basically, you're not going to have any issues there. I use the same technique for all of my pins, but I would recommend putting it higher into the circle because what I feel that does is causes it to lay a little more against the garment at the bottom of the flower. It just kind of weights it down a little bit. If you put it in the middle, it might toggle a little. And that's it. That's the end of the flower. Thanks for watching.